Hi everyone, Skateskek here, and it's time for a review of the new Tiny Moving Parts album. This is the band's 6th album, Swell, released on the 26th of January this year, my birthday actually. So yeah, let's start the review. Tiny Moving Parts are a Minnesota math in emo rock band, comprised of the two brothers Matt and Will Chevalier, I think I'm saying that right, and their cousin Dylan Mathesian. I'm really bad with pronouncing names, I apologise if I've done it wrong. So, two brothers and a cousin, does that remind you of anyone? So I think the first thing that attracted me to this album was the artwork. It was one of those, you know, really interesting ones that I sort of saw in the shop, and I was like, oh, you know, I'll check this band out, check this album out. I listened to it, and I was pleasantly surprised, so I decided to purchase it. I think the album art really does tell a sort of a story. I think the missing finger represents loss. The cigarette represents the coping mechanism that helps to aid with the loss, and then the stitches on the hand represents the healing that comes from everything. That's the thing. It's a thing that everybody does. It's on the album artwork, you can't go wrong. Overall thoughts of the album, I think it's pretty much in the same key throughout, which makes it a bit difficult to distinguish songs from one another. You know, you'll hear the lyrics, you know, played in your head, or like a riff, and you know, you'll have to listen to various different songs sometimes to pinpoint the one that it was actually from. The album is very driven by Dylan's screamy vocals, and they get a bit grating after a while. He has got good vocal range, but it's just this up and down of like cleans and then these really high, screamy, scratchy vocals. And Dylan also manages to play the fast math rock parts that drive this album as well, while singing, which is a really, really good skill. You know, you'll be listening to songs and there'll be like a really fast, insanely up and down dazzly part on the guitar, and he'll be like still singing, and it's pretty good. All the songs also utilise the same structure, in which at some point during the song the bass and drums will drop out, and there'll be like a part where the guitar plays various melodies, and you know, that's another part of the math rock side of it. It sort of becomes a bit of an old trick after the first few times it happens, and nothing really special about it after you wear it out over the first few songs. There's a light electric element throughout. I'm pretty sure I hear Saints on the bridge of Applause, and the main riff of Smooth It Out as well. Kelk Galozzo from Jesse Bones features on, I think, 5 or 6 songs during this as guest vocals on tracks such as like Wildfire and whatever else. I don't know, it's just nice that the band chooses to feature some of the friends a lot more throughout the album than on just one song. With regards to lyrical content, I think there's too many flipping references to breathing. There's like my diaphragm collapse at the sound of every move. Breathe in, blow out, simply repeat these steps. Throughout loads of the songs there's so many references to breathing, lungs and oxygen and whatever. I think the lyrics get a bit philosophical as well. And tracks such as Whale Watching, which is the fastest song on the whole record, and tracks like The Closer, which is like a final cry for help, I'm pretty sure. They are like quite self-aware and, you know, cheesy in a way, cringy in a way, but you know, they're still okay lyrics. I mean, it's difficult to relate to the song It's Too Cold Tonight when it uses the lyrics, foxes near the backyard, dancing in the road, stare outside the window, they radiate a glow. Bioluminescent foxes? I'm not quite sure what's happening right here. As I've said before, you know, I don't really think there's much point going into a track-by-track review. I know I'm sounding a lot negative. This album is slightly above average. It's just, there's a lot of negatives with the vocals and the sort of samey vibe throughout the tracks. And, you know, it was a bit underwhelming. The bass is great, especially on Malfunction. The drums, I think, were really great on tracks like Feel Alive and the really fast Whale Watching. They do save the album, but utilising the same chord progression, as I said, it makes it hard to distinguish between songs. And these songs sort of run into each other throughout the half an hour, the only half an hour that this record is. It's very short, the tracks are quite short. I think the longest track was the closer, or the penultimate track. I think the album is still enjoyable. Whether or not you enjoy it thoroughly or just think of it as like a above average mediocre album, you know, that's up to you. To be honest, I'd give it about a 6 out of 10 because of that. I don't feel like I can analyse songs individually because they do cover a lot of the same lyrical topics. I think the highest points for me in the album are Feel Alive, Malfunction and Wishbone, simply because they shine through more vocally and instrumentally as well. I really liked the intro to Malfunction. So, like I've said before, you know, overall, 6 out of 10. Above average, slightly underwhelming. The math rock parts, there are still parts that really impress you, but as a whole, this album does sort of blend into one and it's a bit meh. Still enjoyed it, but you know, what else can I say at this point? But don't let me be your decision maker. You know, you can give it a listen, make up your own opinion about it. You can put down in the comments what you thought about it, and look forward to my next review, which will hopefully be soon. I've just finished exams, doing work experience the week to come, and then yeah, I'm basically in and out of school. I've barely got a stable timetable at the minute with all the stuff that's going on towards the end of my year in school, so yeah. I will try to stay on top of uploads, and I have been more lately. I've really been enjoying doing YouTube. Yeah, this is not what you want to hear, but I will leave you with that, and I'll see you in the next review, guys. Have a nice day, have a nice anything that you are doing, enjoy it.